Sam from Guitar Village here, and today at centre stage we've got a Gibson Custom Shop 54 Les Paul Custom reissue, also known as the Staple Les Paul. At the time when the originals were being released in 1954, Gibson had their gold top, their main Les Paul, and Les Paul himself wanted a black guitar, something that looked like a tuxedo. So they came up with this, the Les Paul Custom. Now this does differ from the gold top Les Paul standards in a few different ways. Some of the main ones being that this is a solid mahogany body, it doesn't have a maple cap underneath this, obviously the ebony finish. We've got gold hardware throughout with waffle back tuners on there. You've got multiply binding around the top, binding around the back that the standard didn't have, binding around the headstock, so lots of binding on there, and this really gorgeous split diamond headstock inlay as well. Now the fingerboard is a different material too. You've got an ebony fretboard with these big block inlays on there, and the Les Paul Custom has been upgraded somewhat. So in 1953, when they originally released the Les Paul Custom, they decided to fit one of these, an ABR1 Tune-o-matic bridge to it as well, which the Les Paul standard didn't have. Now, for those of you who are kind of familiar with the differences between a Les Paul standard and a custom, one thing that makes the 54 very different from a 57 Les Paul Custom are the two P90 pickups. Well, the P90 in the bridge and the Alnico 5, which is nicknamed the Staple. When you get a Les Paul from the custom shop, especially the reissue stuff, they tend to be around £9, and this one is pretty close to that. It's £8.8, so it feels nice and light. Even though it is very solid and put together really well, it still feels agile. I think having this chunky C neck fits the hand like a glove, along with the ebony fretboard and historic medium jumbo fret wire make it a real pleasure to play. It's really smooth and responsive to your hands. The range of tones you can get from these two pickups is incredible. You can roll the volume back on each one and they clean up really nicely. The neck pickup, the Alnico 5, has got this big powerful sound, while the bridge is a slightly softer, but it has more clarity to it as well. When you combine both together, you get this really nice kind of open woody tone. This is for someone who wants a guitar that has a completely different sound to your regular Les Paul Custom. I think if you already own a Les Paul standard, this is a must-have. It gives you something so different. It's got these open single coil tones that you don't really get even from a PAF, which is a great sounding pickup. But this is something different, and I think it's one that everyone should try at least once. For the tones today, I was using a couple of pedals going into the house Cornell. We had the Strymon Deco and a Boss RC30 looper. The Cornell itself was set pretty flat with just a smidge of reverb on there, and the volume set clean. It was great getting to know a little more about this 54 Les Paul Custom. If you haven't tried one, I urge you to check one out. It's a really different experience. If you do want to find out any more about this guitar, the link will be in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.